Well, I'm joined now by France 24's Gulliver Cragg, who is in Kyiv. Gulliver, tell us a little about the infrastructure damage there.
Well, it was yesterday on Tuesday that there was a power cut across a large part of the eastern suburbs of Kyiv, but after 7 hours they put the power back on. There's a sustained campaign of attacks on power stations, substations, electricity infrastructure all around the country. It was continuing at the moment, actually. Air alerts are covering most of Ukraine at the moment, and there were several explosions heard from the center of Kyiv just a little earlier, though according to preliminary information coming from the city's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, and other sources, that was the sound of the rockets being shot down by Ukrainian air defense. But there are also reports of these Iranian-made Shahid drones flying around the Kyiv area, and so the threat hasn't gone away. And there have also been explosions in other parts of Ukraine, particularly the central regions of Vinnytsia and Cherkasy, reported this afternoon. So it seems to be that campaign of attacks on infrastructure is continuing, and what happens is that the authorities and the engineers are able to reconnect places where there are power cuts using reserve lines, but that doesn't mean that the power stations and other parts of the infrastructure that get hit get repaired. So with every attack, the system is basically under more and more strain, and Ukrainians are being urged to reduce their electricity consumption as much as possible.
Gulliver, we're also hearing that Putin has declared martial law in 4 of those unilaterally annexed regions. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, of course, Russia doesn't really have the authority to declare martial law in regions of Ukraine, but de facto it does control significant parts of those regions. The declaration is probably, I would think, to be interpreted as part of this general preparation for something to happen in Kherson region that the Russians seem to be making, added to the Russia-installed governor of Kherson city, Volodymyr Saldo, saying that he and his team were themselves evacuating to the other side of the river while staying in Kherson region. Kherson is on the right bank of the Dnipro river, but the river cuts through the region, and crossing it is a major problem for the Russians at the moment because the Ukrainians have taken out the bridges. There's also been declarations from the top Russian general controlling the Russian forces now in Ukraine, saying that tough decisions may have to be made and that the situation in Kherson is very difficult. And so it seems the Russians are at least reacting. This is their reaction to Ukraine's ongoing counteroffensive, I think. But what it actually means about the Russians' assessment of their capacity to resist that counteroffensive, or what plans they have in store, well, speculation is raging.
Well, thanks very much, Gulliver Cragg there, France 24's correspondent, with that analysis.